I only forgot to say the important bit on the last video. The meanings of left wing, right wing and centrist. So here we go. Hello again. It seems in my last video, entitled Facts and Logic, what is far right and what is far left? I forgot to say what far right and far left was. So here I go. And to the guy who was like trying to flirt with me earlier about my hair, you happy now? I look fucking banging. I'm trying not to swear. Anyway, far left and far right. Right, let's start from the centre. Right? If you're a centrist, if your politics is a centrist, what that means is you are a fence sitter. You won't particularly strongly agree with anything. You won't particularly disagree with anything. But generally, you're remaining within the status quo. You don't want things to change too much. But you don't want to be in control. You're just a passenger, basically, if you're a centrist. So that's why not many people admit to being that. Then you've got your right people. I don't know whether this is mirroring, that might be right. Anyway, so you've got your people on the far right, or the right wing, and what that means is, it doesn't mean anything bad. It doesn't mean racist, sexist, phobe, blah, blah. It doesn't mean any of that brainwashing rubbish that the universities are putting into people's heads. No, it doesn't. Remember, we've got the centrist, who's just a fence sitter, right? Then we go right. And when we go to the right, we've got the traditionalists. That's what far right means. It's because the house of people, like the cabinet of people that make the decisions, all the ones on the left are like the liberal guys that all agree. That's why they're on that side. And they just happen to put all the other guys on the right. So that's why we got left and right wing. It doesn't really relate to left and right. But anyway, so you've got your centrists, fence sitters, you've got your right wing people who are like traditionalists. So they also want everything to stay largely the same. They're not so much about the status quo, but they're very traditional. So they want to keep the 10 Commandments. They want to keep personal sovereignty. They want to keep our border policy so that we're not overrun with migrants and, we're not letting Scottish people starve while their fish are being stolen by Portuguese. This kind of thing, right? So centrists, fence sitters, right, traditionalists. Then over on the left, you got the revolutionaries, the rebellious people. So they don't have a particular point. And they tend to be quite young, and this makes sense when you think about it. What the people on the left do is they criticise. They're the critics. So the guys on the right, who are getting called phobes, racists, sexists, misogynists, all this kind of larpy crap that they get called, the reason they're getting called that is straight up financial discrimination. Literally, that's it. You've got your poor people over here on the left, and they're poor through their own devices because they're crap attitudes and they make bad decisions and they waste their time and they embarrass themselves online and can't get a job, and it's mostly a wreck and a write-off. From my personal experience anyway. Whereas the guys on the right are like the polar opposite. They're like generally a bit grumpy, they don't like meeting new people, they're quite cynical about people, but they're wealthy, they've got houses, families, cars, stuff, safety and influence in the society, which the left didn't previously have, but they have now. And how they've got it is through this woke culture. So we all hate it. We know that it's blatant, straight up discrimination. It's like worse than racism, because at least racism, you can call it what it is. This, you're not allowed to. It's like fascism. You're not allowed to speak against the party. It's as simple as that, comrade. So I saw it coming a mile away. Like I did another video on the Death Cult Black Book. And you can go and watch that one if you want. It's like 2 or 3 videos ago. I think it's like 10 minutes long. So that one, I actually got my Qurans. I've got 2 Qurans. I've got an original Arabic one. It's quite old. And then I've got a new English translation one. And a lot of the answers to our current paradigm of crapness in society described pretty well in there. So if you happen to be a cultist, I won't say Muslims, because I don't think it's not as cut and dried as I used to think, where 90% of Muslims just on the sly agree with it and they're all, possible terrorists. It's like that kind of is true, but not 100%. It's not as solid as I thought it was. Plus, that's another thing you can't actually say out loud. So who knows, this video might disappear now that I've said that. So anyway, so yeah, that's the point of this video. You've got your centrists, who are the fence sitters. You've got your people on the right who are traditionalists. And you've got your people on the left who are your revolutionaries, who are against the right guys. Right? So how it's supposed to work is you get your majority main party in power, which is usually the traditionalists, the conservatives, because they're the ones with production. They're the useful guys that work really long hours and really hard. And, they're good organisers and they've got skills and talents that they actually use, right? So that's why they've got that. And obviously the guys on the left, who are revolutionaries or rebels, are using them as a propaganda tool. Because if you're poor, it's so easy to go, yeah, my bosses are, you know, insert expletive here, and I want all his money. But I mean, just look through history, right? Let's look what's happened when the left has gained control over any country and then they've turned it into socialism or like a communist project or something like that. So I'm not going to go through examples. You can use Google or ask ChatGPT. That's a good one as well. But what you'll notice is there's a trend with these guys. What they tend to do is immediately or very quickly revolve and grab power through a coup or some other manipulative means, which isn't actually legal. So, first of all, they're criminals for that, and then they get into power. And then once they get into power, they're not bothered about organising, they're not bothered about production, they're not bothered about health and safety of people at work or the NHS, they're not bothered about any of that. They've got one goal, and it's to take the money off these guys and distribute it fairly so everyone has an equal portion. But no one's allowed to own anything, so you can't have cash, you can't have like a food store, you literally get given a bag of rice every day or something like that. So it's horrific. It's absolutely horrific. And that's day one. Think after a year, when you've taken all the money and tools and stuff off all the wealthy, productive guys and left them poverty bound and starving with their families with nothing, or you've beat them up or whatever. After a few years, there's no production. There's no bricks, there's no clay, there's no food, there's no water, there's no petrol, there's nothing. The roads are deteriorating. People are rioting, and it's mayhem. And then what you get is starvation. Then you get political invasion from someone else, usually. Like, think about Germany. No one wanted to invade Germany, but we had to. That's what's going to happen here. It's like, right, if this country gets too bad, we're tiny. We're like one of the smallest countries of any relevance on the world, right? So we take it for granted that we're safe here. But I'm telling you, this could happen to us. If there's a socialist uprising in this country and too many people get on that bandwagon, we will become a target for terrorism. Like big terrorism. You know, we've had a few. We had like the London bombing, Manchester. We had the drummer guy got his head cut off. We've had Jihadi John. We've had the fake passports from the CIA. You know, all that stuff. We've had all of it. So I'm going off track here. Yeah. So anyway, I've made the point. Centre, left, right. They're not bad. It's just different views. You could have someone who's completely far left, who's a far left maniac, who's a good person. It's possible. You can also have a completely far-right guy who's like, I think England should have a big wall round it, you know, like Trump's wall kind of thing. And he could be saying that and still be a good person. That's the whole point. This new wokeism is like, no, we can't have the reasoning discussion. We can't have the debate. No, because your books and your evidence are evil. So let's burn them, get rid of them. Where have we seen that before? Oh, yeah, every time we have communism or socialism or totalitarianism, that's the first thing they do, is they burn all the stuff that I've collected there, which is a historical archive. It's literally books, CDs, games, videos, letters. All the stuff in my collection is like that. It's all historical stuff. So imagine if we had a socialism takeover here. Now, I've spent my life collecting all this stuff. I spent a ton of money on my whole house is full of stuff. If there was a socialist uprising, tomorrow I'd be thrown out of my bed, all my medical supplies would be taken, so I'd be screwed straight away. We wouldn't even be able to do one day. All this stuff would be taken, probably shared out, destroyed, or just not treated well. And that's the thing people don't realise about this. It's like, right, okay, let's say that the socialism succeeds, right? Let's give them the whole planet. They own everything. No one owns anything apart from the state, which isn't a person. So you're walking through your town, but you don't own anything. So why would you look after it? No one's cleaning the windows because it's not their windows. No one's wiping down doors or tables or anything. No one cares. How can you care about something in that scenario? You're basically on the poverty line. You're poor. That's why they think this universal basic income is such a great idea. It's like, hang on a minute. That would work if everyone's completely flat broke and there's zero economy, zero production, zero growth and zero stores. So we've basically got nothing. We're going to have to go and punch a tree like in Minecraft, right? In that scenario, You're I can't say it because I'm trying not to swear. You're screwed, aren't you? So that's the thing about these socialists. They don't realise is they're obsessed with this making out the other person to be a dichotomy enemy. So then they're by nature the white knight or the hero, then go and slay the dragon kind of thing. It's just such a cliche. It's like, I know uni students are like 10-year-olds. They haven't got a clue about life. They've only been alive 5 minutes. But anyone older than 30 should know better than this stuff. Right, so just remember, centrists is fence sitters. They probably get the most criticism because they just don't ever talk and they won't agree with anyone. The right people are traditionalists. They're not evil, they're not racist, some of them are black. How can they be racist if they're black? You know, that's stupid, I'm joking. But some of them are black, some are Indian, some whatever. They're all different, diverse people, right? But the fact is, they are the guys who are making this country work. If we go and take all their stuff and bankrupt them, this country is screwed. And if you need previous examples, I have a whole thing of historical books with all of them in there. Literally, you could Google it, like I said. So that's the end of this video, and I'll see you later. Hope you enjoyed that, and dying for a cigarette. So, oh no, I don't smoke anymore for the camera. I've quit. I'll have to have that later. So yeah, nice one, guys, and I'll see you later. Bye.